Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet, presented by Betway. I'm your host, Adam Peddle, and to my left, we've got the other host, Nicholas Paleolog. We're here back talking some more baseball as we are winding down the season. Some teams are heating up and doing really good and making some great moves, and then you've got other teams who are fumbling the bag, who are shouting slurs, and other teams that are just pretty disgraceful. We're going to talk about the good and the bad for baseball, and as well, we're going to do a little fun thing at the end where we're going to take MLB players and put them on an NFL team. What would be the best NFL team just using MLB players? Nick's got his lineup. I've got my lineup. So we're going to do that right at the end in honor of football season happening in just a few weeks. But before we get into all that, Nick, how you doing this morning?
Yeah, doing very good, man. I was extremely excited to record this episode because looking at MLB news right now, like, sure, you got, your typical, oh, this team's doing good and we're on a big win streak, or, oh, this team's not doing so hot and we're on a big losing streak. And, that's always fun to talk about in its own right. But, we got scandals right now of MLB owners stealing dirt. We got jersey sales going through the roof after literal
homophobic slurs.
Yeah, homophobic.
Yeah.
Like we're talking just radical stuff going on.
And nobody's screaming at the entire fan base of the New York Mets.
Yes.
And everyone's like, who the hell's this guy? Why does he hate us?
That's what I'm saying, man. Listen, I guess it's just the devil inside me, but I'm a sucker for stuff like this. So obviously we're going to start off talking about what's actually going on in baseball, and then we're going to get into the more radical stuff happening right now because this is just kind of hilarious.
It's hilarious, man. I feel like at the end of the season, when people's seasons are over, it's like, well, what do I have really to lose? I'm fed up. I'm 100 games in. My emotions are running high. I'm tired as hell. I've been on the road all year long, and things are starting to slip.
That could definitely be, man. But a team that is absolutely not slipping at all. In fact, they are getting their footing right now. The traction on the shoes of the Houston Astros needs to be studied because they are picking up the pace right now. Houston, 8-game win streak. It is looking nice. A couple episodes ago, we were debating who was going to win that division, and at the time they were not in the lead. It was the Seattle Mariners, and then it was Houston and Texas, and they were right neck and neck, and both of us kind of came to the conclusion, even though we like what Seattle's doing, even though we like what they did at the trade deadline, something about those Astros, man, they just keep doing it. They're inevitable year in, year out, and they are doing it right now.
They're doing it, and it's not the offense. The offense in the last 15 days it's mid. They're 16th rank in OPS, if you like to follow that category. But it's the pitching. Last 15 days, they are first in all of baseball. 2.65 ERA. And part of that, they got healthy, and a lot of those guys are there and, stepping up and doing well. The bullpen's doing a bit better. But they did make a trade for one of our guys, Blue Jay fans, Yusei Kikuchi. They traded for him, and a lot of people were like, holy crap, you overpaid for this guy. But is it 2 starts in, or did he make his third start?
3 starts.
He's made his third start.
Let me list off some of the stat lines right here from Yusei Kikuchi, okay? Because the whole conversation was Houston Astros got fleeced. They're giving away some of their top prospects to get this guy in, and when Yusei Kikuchi was over there in a Blue Jays uniform, he wasn't doing very good. He was okay, and then he started falling off a cliff.
He had a 4.75 ERA, whip of 1.34. It's he's your. You'd be like, all right, fine, he's our 5th guy.
Exactly.
But we're a losing team
We
still.
were thinking that this guy gets traded away, and you're looking at a depth starter. This is now somebody who just completely changed into a playoff-ready guy, literally changed uniforms, and everything got better for Yusei Kikuchi. So far, 3 starts in. First start, 5.2 innings, 2 earned runs. Solid. Second start, 5.1 innings, 2 earned runs. Also solid. Third start, 5.2 innings, 1 earned run.
Solid.
In that time, he's got 11 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts in those outings. So, he's just racking up the Ks right now. Everything is looking good for Yusei Kikuchi. 3 starts in, got a 2.7 ERA with the Houston Astros. What What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Well, I know. We broke it down on our Blue Jays Today show. Before we get into that, actually, I'm looking at the entire rotation of the Houston Astros. Would you be shocked if I told you that he's the worst of the starting pitchers in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would
yes,
be. Yeah.
yes, I would.
Everybody is 240, 188, 208, and 238, or all the other guys. So they're just they're just firing on all cylinders. I don't know what they got going on in Houston, but what we do know, and we broke it down in our show, just to recap it very lightly, apparently they took Yusei. They said, hey, dude, your slider is one of your best pitches. Your changeup, you got to throw it more because it is actually your best pitch. It is the lowest batting average against. So we're going to up those, and we're going to lower your fastball, lower your curveball. Those aren't working for you this year. And then all of a sudden, it's like night and day. It's like Yusei Kikuchi would be the best pitcher on the Blue Jays if he were to come back and pitch the way he's pitching with the Houston Astros. So with that being said, I mean, Houston fans out there were really worried. Holy shit, we got fleeced.
Yeah.
But then, you look at what you're getting. You're like, okay, well, if we go on to win the World Series and he's amazing in the playoffs, then I don't think we will ever care about that trade. We'll think it's a win.
Well, that's the thing, right? And this just goes to show exactly, like, the fact that he was so bad 2-3 weeks ago and then flies over to Houston, changes uniforms, and immediately starts throwing the baseball with authority, collecting strikeouts like it's fucking candy.
Oh, yeah, 24 to 16 innings.
It's ridiculous, right? I mean, it just goes to show how incredible the Houston Astros coaching staff is over there. Josh Miller, you ever heard that name before? Mark it in your head, man, because Josh Miller needs to get talked about more. He's the pitching coach over there for the Houston Astros. I just looked it up right now. Never heard him in my life. I'm sure Houston fans know exactly who he is. As somebody who's like an outsider looking in, I had no idea. But that guy right there knows what he's doing, dude. And this continues to blow my mind. They're doing all of this. Where is Justin Verlander?
Yeah.
Not even there yet. He's making his second rehab start very soon, so they're going to get him back. Multiple Cy Young winner. He's going to come back soon.
Yeah.
And, this team is just going to continue to roll.
Jose Urquidy, you got no Lance McCullers. He's been, gone for a long, long time. I think I'm missing one more guy on this roster. But, look at their rotation. It's Yusei Kikuchi, Ronel Blanco through the no-hitter against the Jays earlier. Framber Valdez, we know him. Spencer Arrighetti. And then Hunter Brown, who's ass to begin the year. Now he's so good. So, you're right. What's his name? I already forgot.
Josh Miller.
Josh Miller is the guy.
He's the guy.
He's changing the ways of the Houston Astros. And without this type of performance from their staff, they absolutely would not be on the winning streak they're at. And they are starting to take a little bit of a command of that AL West. They're 2.5 games above the Mariners, and the Mariners are just... They're midding right now. They're just midding 5-5 in the last 10 games, 2-game losing streak. They're midding, and they're mid as hell. They're commanding, and they're going to go the Houston Astros to the postseason again.
If I am any other squad right now where I'm unsure of my my head coaching position or anything like that, whether you be a Toronto Blue Jays or whether you be Chicago White Sox or any squad like that, I am poaching off of the Houston Astros. I'm calling up Josh Miller, and I'm saying, bro, we got a head coaching role for you. We got a managerial role for you.
You could argue that you'd probably still want him to be a pitching coach.
He's
good at that.
Listen, you can be. I bring him in because clearly he just knows baseball, but obviously he's pitching first. But I bring him in to do that, and then he can kind of bring in the pitching coaches that he needs to do, and he'll teach them what's going exactly right. Because clearly this guy knows what's up, dude, and that's why everybody gets on Houston because it's oh yeah, they cheated a couple years ago and everything like that, and that obviously stuck. Big stain on the resume right there. But for the last decade, yes, they've had quality players. Yes, they've had quality talent come in, but they've had a squad and an organization that knows how to get the best out of those guys consistently.
I think if you're still thinking about the cheating, you're living way in the past. That was 2017, as we know of. It was 2017. That is 7 years ago. You know what I mean? They fired those guys. Those guys are gone. They've been gone for 4 years. So it's and people still chirp George Springer, he hit a homer. He must have had trash cans, It's buddy, get over it, bro. Yeah. So you can't use that as an argument. They had a strong organization before the cheating, as we know of, and they have a strong organization after the cheating.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Something in the water over there in Houston, man. They know their pitching staff. Let's transition and talk about who I am now kind of locking in my opinion. I made a whole short on this, and I got a little bit of slack for it, but I'm sticking to my guns right here. I think we're witnessing right now the greatest home run hitter in the history of baseball. And I understand there's going to be some old heads out there that are freaking out thinking about Barry Bonds. Don't get me wrong. This is nothing against Barry Bonds. This is nothing against Hank Aaron. This is nothing against any of those guys. But what we're watching right now from Aaron Judge is freaking historic. It is blowing people away. It's like every other day you're seeing a new record come out from Aaron Judge. And just the other day, he hit his 300th home run of his MLB career. Talk to me about the 1.174 OPS right now,
right.
Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously very exciting. I think Aaron Judge is an absolute beast. Now, would I say he's the greatest home run hitter of all time? I would probably say he's up there. I wouldn't say he is the greatest home run hitter of all time, because of the unfortunate facts that he missed a lot of time. He was a late bloomer. And of the guys who were there, he's one of the, you could say he's the fastest and most compact home run hitter of all time, where he's gotten all these home runs in this shorter amount of time. Yes, absolutely. But he probably won't go down as the greatest just because of those other things like the injuries and the late timing. He's 32 years old. He's one of the older guys on this list that reached that milestone. And all the other guys on that top list too, like they aren't the greatest home run hitters of all time. They're just the fastest, right?
Well, let me just paint the picture for everybody and just evaluate exactly how quickly he has done this. So the second fastest player of all time now is Ralph Kiner. He's a Hall of Famer, and he hit 300 home runs in 1,087 games. 1,087 games, that's really good. That means like almost a third of the time, third of your games, you're hitting a home run. Aaron Judge did it in 955. And to put that in perspective, that is 132 games faster than Ralph Kiner. He did it without steroids. He did it where in seasons where offense is down, and he did it with almost an entire season of baseball, between him and the second best guy. So that's where I'm coming from when I say that we are looking at, in my opinion, arguably the greatest home run hitter of all time, because he's done it quicker than everybody else. He's got the American League record now for home runs. He's going to hit well over 50 again this year. Could even get to 60. Yes, I don't think that he's going to hit the most home runs of all time. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's going to get up there in the 700s or anything like that. He's not going to hit the most, but I don't think that means that he's not the greatest.
I hear what you're saying. I think we also got a long career to go through. I mean, I'm looking at, I'm seeing this article right here where it's talking about, can he hit the next milestone, which is the 500 home run club, which is like elite category, right? And looking at the 500 club, like, yeah, he's going to be 33 next year. Obviously, he's got a few more home runs to hit this year. He's going to be 33 next year when he hits it. That is the disadvantage, because of the members who have hit the 500 home run club, the oldest debuts of those members, like their major league debuts, were Mike Schmidt, Mark McGwire, Banks, Frank Thomas, and Palomero, who were 22 years old, and one was 21, whereas Aaron Judge was 24, right? And the average median age of that 500 home run club was their average debuts were all 20 years old. So Judge is at a bit of a disadvantage in that regards. And so for me, it's like, it's still going to be tough to even get there. And, from the ages of 33 to 39, the guys who have hit the most from ages 33 to 39, post Barry Bonds era, post steroids and all that, was Nelson Cruz, David Ortiz, and Jim Thome. Nelson Cruz hit 260. So if his body can withstand the test of time, he can add in, let's say he goes 300. Well, 600 home runs, I think, is like a very good milestone and an objective for Aaron Judge could do. If he could do that in the time frame of the disadvantages he's had by getting called up later, then damn, you do got a really good argument. Yeah,
he's still got a ways to go to get on some of those all-time lists, but the efficiency from him in hitting bombs is clearly unparalleled. And I guess, what is the math there to get to 500? He's at 300 right now. He's 33 years old. That means 200 more to go. It's obviously going to be very difficult for him to get to that point, because you're probably going to need at least another 50 bomb in there, maybe even two of them, and then multiple, 30-plus home run seasons on top of that, right? So you got to go for, at minimum, 5 more years of elite production, which is going to bring him, to 38 years old or whatever that is. So he's still got a ways to go to get to that mark. But regardless, like just from an efficiency standpoint and the capability to hit a home run at what feels like will, like I don't know if we've ever seen anybody, do it at this level for this long without the addition of performance-enhancing drugs, to our knowledge, anyways.
Yeah, to our knowledge. If he ever came out, Aaron Judge was on PEDs, I think we just be hating life. I mean, at that point, it's like, wow, like that sucks.
Yes,
we have to take this away again too. But no, I mean, yeah, Aaron Judge is one of the greatest, and he's the best years he's ever had. He's aged 30, 31, and 32 the last 3 seasons. So I'm curious to see if he can keep it up and do it. It'd be awesome to see him go on a run like that and actually do it. He's got to stay healthy because even last year, 106 games he played, and that really stunted his performance. So he's got to stay healthy on the field.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, again, you look back at some of those other guys too, like the Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire's and stuff. When they got into their late 30s, and again, there was some other factors that were going on there, but when they got into their late 30s, they were still absolutely destroying the baseball. So hopefully Aaron Judge can keep it up. It is going to be very difficult, but shout out to him regardless because he is going insane mode.
He is. I wanted to throw out one more thing. I actually talked about this on our social media too the other day. Speaking of the New York Yankees, Jazz injury. That injury is huge. I didn't realize how good he's been doing.
Yes.
He had an OPS over 1,000.
Oh, I know.
And a batting average over 300. And him getting injured, they're still waiting to see if it's going to be a surgery or not, or is it going to be a long-term IL stint. But if he goes down, damn. Like, that momentum, I feel like he was a huge part of that momentum to bring them back on top of the AL East because they're what? Yeah, they're 6-4 in their last 10. The Orioles took a bit of a slip, and they took advantage, and now we're on top of half a game, but they need anything they can get to stay on top of the AL East.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, like that is obviously a major blow because that was the big trade acquisition.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that we were talking, too, about the New York Yankees needing to go out and get a bunch more pieces. Now, I will say Juan Soto is kind of making up for that right now because just as Aaron Judge is going insane mode, Juan Soto is also losing his mind right now.
He had 3 home runs the other day.
Yes.
And then actually on the 30th home run by Aaron Judge, I thought was stupid. Also, fun fact, setting the scene right here.
Yeah.
The new manager of the Chicago White Sox intentionally walked Juan Soto to make it 1st and 2nd and 1 out to bring up Aaron Judge.
Yeah, see, that I don't agree with.
That's just dumb.
That I don't agree with.
I get Juan Soto is the 2nd best player in terms of OPS right now in baseball, but you're going to walk him to bring up the best player at OPS? And then guess what? It hits his homer, and then you suck.
No, I don't.
Debut by the interim manager.
Yeah, I do not agree with that at all. Now, if you've probably heard me before, everybody talking about how Aaron Judge, in my opinion, needs to continuously get intentionally walked. If, of course, there is an open spot on first base or Juan Soto was already out or anything like that. But if you got a runner at first and you got a runner at second and an open base at first with Juan Soto, like you don't have the luxury anymore, right? It's like you got to deal with these guys at this point, or at least deal with Juan Soto and then intentionally walk Aaron Judge. You can't do the first one first. Because again, I understand that Juan Soto is going insane mode right now. He's got a 1.053 OPS right now. It's actually really sad because in any other year, he is undoubtedly the MVP. Right. He's not even going to get a second look right now just because of how incredible Aaron Judge is. But they are obviously both complimenting each other so well, and that just goes to show that the White Sox are down horrendously.
Yeah, that's just terrible, bro. I don't know. He's trying to out big brain the other team. It's like, you got Aaron Judge. He's the best player on the planet right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no out-braining somebody who's got almost a 1.2 OPS. That, it just isn't how it works, man. White Sox, figure it the hell out. Another squad that needs to figure it the hell out. We were actually talking off-camera earlier about, like, literally just the most poverty teams in not only just MLB, but in North American sports in general. Maybe one episode we'll kind of do a bit of a draft of just like the worst run organizations in history, because this team is probably up there. Colorado Rockies recently getting rid of Elias Diaz, their catcher. Elias Diaz batting .270 right now. Obviously, Colorado not in a position to win any games at all. He is going to be a free agent in 2025. So, okay, we don't need this guy at all. We're just going to save some money, whatever. Makes sense. But then why didn't you trade him at the trade deadline if that was the strategy? Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Rockies are by far the poorest run organization I've ever seen in all of sports. Like, I'm not a huge NBA fan. I watch NFL. There's some pretty poverty franchises there that run their team pretty bad, a.k.a. the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
But seriously, Rockies management is so piss poor. I've seen them year after year after year. Every trade deadline where they're clearly sellers, they don't sell. You don't sell Trevor Story. You don't get anything from him. This past trade deadline, they had so many pieces. Like, ungodly amount of pieces. Did they even trade one? I think they may have traded one guy.
So quiet,
but it was nothing. I actually don't. Someone correct me in the chat. I don't think they traded anybody. And this was one of your guys. And again, Blue Jays fans, right here, we traded away Danny Jansen. We didn't even think there was going to be a market for Danny Jansen because he was doing so bad. Elias Diaz was on that market, and he was doing way better at the time of the trade deadline than Danny Jansen. And then you don't trade him, and then DFA him to save money. And it was not even a lot of money. It's $1.5 million. Teams are going to be okay with paying that and sending over prospects your way
for a catcher that can actually hit.
A catcher that can actually hit. And you don't even have to catch him. Put him in a friggin' DH spot for all I care.
Yeah.
It's just horrible management. And I don't even know where to go from here. Like, I keep saying, get rid of all these guys. Get rid of your GM. Get rid of your ownership. I just don't think they care. They're smoking too much ganja and eating too many mushrooms up there in the Rockies. They just don't even care.
No, it's just a full cancer, man. Like, we were gassing up and just glazing the Houston Astros for how good their coaching staff is, managerial staff. It is the complete opposite over there in Colorado. I always think about how they dealt with Arenado and Trevor Story and all those guys, and I guess I just keep coming back to the fact, like, how often do you have a player come out and be extremely outspoken about how they don't want to be here, how they don't like the management, how they would never sign an extension? That's pretty rare, and that's happened multiple times in the last 5 to 6 years for the Colorado Rockies, and they just continue to follow it up. In fact, even Chris Bryant came out. Chris Bryant came out in this offseason, kind of in the spring training era and stuff like that. And he was talking about how he should have done his due diligence more about the team. He was literally talking about how it's like, yeah, I really should have looked into their prospects a bit more and everything like that. And then people started running with it, and he had to come out and he had to double down and or back off a bit, and backpedal it and be like, oh yeah, I didn't mean what I said. But it's so clearly, well, you did, because Chris Bryant, right, used to play in a very competitive team, won a World Series, and the second he goes over to Colorado, just completely falls off the face of the earth, and even he regrets what he's doing. So I don't know if it's something in the state of Colorado, because I'm also thinking about the Denver Broncos, who are just a horribly run franchise in their own right. So maybe it's just something going on over there.
Other than the Avalanche.
That's true, actually. They do pretty good. And you know what? The Denver Nuggets are pretty good, too.
Pretty good.
Okay, so I don't know, man.
Just these guys.
This is just a special type of evil, and they just do it consistently better than everyone else at screwing shit up.
How do you do that, man? I'm looking at you mentioned Chris Bryant. I'm like, wow, I gotta look at this guy's career with the Cubs. 886 OPS, with the Rockies 713, and that also includes that 2022 year where he was still kind of good. And now the last 2 years he's been ass. He's had 680 OPS, 623. Rockies being Rockies, turning good into shit and turning shit into shittier.
Yeah. It really is atrocious, man. And this is just another one of those cherries on the sundae of crap, to literally DFA a guy after the trade deadline has passed. You could have got rid of him for something.
If there are any, whoops, and I'm getting an ad right here. Is there any Rockies fans out there? I would not want to be a Rockies fan.
Few and far between, man.
Yeah.
Few and far between.
Insane. I'm sorry, guys. Apologies for
It is what it is, dude. It is what it is. Let's move on and talk about one of the other dumbest headlines right now. Just moving around MLB. This was so stupid. I wasn't even thinking about talking about it, but I was like, you know what? It's actually so stupid that it's worth airtime. So let me read off this headline right here. MLB, this is from Fox Sports. MLB owner sued for stealing sand from Malibu Beach. So automatically I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. And then I go on and I read this. So there's a lawsuit right now going against the Milwaukee Brewers billionaire. Keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. He is a billionaire right now. Owner Mark, don't want to even pretend like I can pronounce his last name, but we're going to call him Mark. The owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. There's a lawsuit going on for him. He is a billionaire. He's been stealing sand from Malibu's Broad Beach and carrying it to his home for his personal use on a construction project, according to documents obtained by the Los Angeles Times. So the billionaire owner of the Milwaukee Brewers is stealing grains of sand from the Malibu Beach, and now he's getting sued over it. How fucking stupid is that?
I don't know if you're a billionaire. You can get sand anywhere else.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm reading into it, and it's like, yeah, this is public property. You can't steal it, and it's exposing it's exposing marine life to potentially hazardous byproducts and heavy machinery. Yeah, that's silly. You could have literally done anything else. And would you hire a crew to go out there, or was it just you?
It must have been. Because here's the thing, right? Like, I imagine he'd have some part of it, but like, it's not like you're walking over. You're not going to get sued if you walk over to the beach and you take a jar and you take some sand.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah. That's what I initially thought when I read it. I was like,
no. Because exposing marine life to like hazardous, heavy machinery. He's going in there with a fucking crane and like just pulling out sand, not talking to anyone.
Beach.
Yeah, from a public dude. You are a billionaire. You hired the crane, clearly, to come in here and do this. Like, what is happening?
I'm wondering if you can just order it online. I feel like you can order sand abroad being shipped to your home.
You could probably Amazon, special like Fiji level sand to come into your home and do whatever it is that you need to do. I mean, I'm sure that there are other ways to go about it, especially if you have $1 billion, man. But this also it ties in beautifully to the Milwaukee Brewers, right? Because you got this billionaire owner here. He's cheaping out on sand. If you're cheaping out on sand, it just goes to show why the Milwaukee Brewers are never in on the big free agents anyways.
Yeah.
You got a billionaire owner. He can obviously fucking afford it, but he's not even willing to pay for sand.
Bro, I'm literally on Rafa. Shout out to rafatwastemanagement.ca. That turns ground into, and they sell used ground, I guess, when they do like construction or something like that. Yeah, you can literally order different kinds of sand online, and they ship it to you $17 per ton.
Doesn't sound like
Doesn't sound like a lot.
See, the only thing that I could see this guy pushing back on is maybe like he's one of those dudes that wants the real authentic Malibu sand, But here's the thing. I'm also sure that there's got to be some other Malibu beach out there that you could pay somebody to, get a bunch of their sand or anything like that.
People is Malibu sand any different than the Rafat Waste Management sand? They got 5 different types of sand.
Yeah.
You could get there.
That's what.
So you can get fine sand, clay sand, like all kinds of sand, guys.
It's just genuinely ridiculous, man. And like this is just one of those things where like I feel like if you're that rich, you just feel like you can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, he will, because he'll probably get off this lawsuit fine and whatever. But it's just like,
it's just
really,
stupid.
really.
Yeah, it's stupid. Man.
Like what does the John Boy say? Is it like the Weekly Dumb or some shit?
Yeah, Weekly Dumb. We used to have a segment called "You Did a Dumb Dumb."
Yeah.
There you go. He's got the new segment. We're making it up right now. You did a dumb dumb.
You literally did a dumb dumb, dude. I mean, it's like you have so much money and you decided to steal sand. Sad. Ridiculous. Let's move on and talk about a franchise that is getting a lot more money as we speak. The Boston Red Sox are currently leading the charge in jersey sales over, the last couple days or whatever it is, literally breaking records, and this is wild how they're doing it. Jaren Duran in the news for all the wrong reasons. but nevertheless seems to be selling jerseys.
Well, yeah, he is the top-rated jersey on MLB Shop right now. More than Ohtani, more than the customizable Dodgers jersey after he said his anti-gay slur. And if you guys aren't familiar with the occasion, a fan basically told him to go get a tennis racket. I'm assuming he struck out. And a fan said, go get a tennis racket. And then Jaren Duran said, shut up, slur. And we're not going to say it on here for obvious reasons. And then afterwards, the sales spiked after he got his 2-game suspension. Similarly, Harrison Butker, remember his speech at that college where he was basically saying, like, women should stay at home or whatever, right? So after that happened, same thing happened with the NFL shop. He got a spike in jersey sales more than his teammate Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes for a few days, for a week. So it's the same thing that's going on right here. I don't know what you make of this.
I think it's just it's kind of wild, man. I mean, for one, it's sad, and like we'll be completely transparent here. We fully support the whole LGBTQ plus community and everything like that. So to hear the anti homophobic slurs or whatnot, and then to see the public response from it, like you'd think that it would be one of shame. And actually, Jaren Duran did come out afterwards and say, he felt really bad about it. So like doing the right thing. Shouldn't.
I'll say it's like you say something, you pay the punishment. You say sorry, you move on.
Yeah.
You make a mistake, we move on from that.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I do think that this is just I guess goes to show the world that we live in, right? And it just goes to show like how many people do feel that way and whatnot. So
yeah, without getting too political, it feels like that's their way of like pushing back to wokeness or whatever it is like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many jerseys do you think Ohtani would sell if he said something like that? Probably a
lot, probably a lot. But Ohtani I feel like would never say something like that.
No, Ohtani would just gamble his money away, and then lie about that.
I should buy an Ohtani jersey after the gambling scandal. I relate to that.
That's the thing. Like that relates to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if some players were coming out here and like if Jaren Duran, instead of saying what he said, came out and was like, you know what, I like to drink beer on Sundays and watch football and shirk my responsibilities.
Yeah.
I'd go, holy,
I'm a Duran fan. Yeah.
I'm a Duran fan for life, baby. I'm like, damn, all right.
But it's unfortunate that it's not that.
It's not that at all, man. No,
so.
and obviously we're trying to make light of what is what's a shitty situation overall, and like we said, fully supportive of the LGBTQ plus community, and we do, it should go unsaid or even just, it should already be known that there should be no space for that in baseball, or what it was that he said in baseball. And I hope that he, he's kind of learned from that or whatever. But I did see a bunch of memes online being like, wow, like owners are going to be looking at these jersey sales and thinking, how can we monopolize on this?
Tonight.
Yeah, right.
He did come out also and say like, I'm supposed to be a role model, and like he's becoming one of the better players in all of baseball right now.
He is.
And it's like, you as a role model, you got to say those things. Like if you're just a guy, regular everyday guy, and you say that kind of things, you get away with it, right? There's no punishment if you say it in a different environment, right? And unless you say it on like line or whatever. But he's a face, a face of baseball in a sense, and you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%, man. So that's the situation going on over there with Jaren Duran. Once again, if somebody wants to come out and talk about football or talk about going to the golf range or something like that,
course.
Ernie
like Clement.
Ernie, that's today. True. Yeah. That's true, man. Yeah,
like to golf.
Maybe I gotta get an Ernie Clement jersey.
For real.
Let's move on and talk a little bit about football. Actually, this is going to be a fun segment brought to you by Greta. Shout out to Greta for being absolutely incredible, guys. Place to go if you have any interest in playing a bunch of games, watching the game, getting some good food, doing all of it. I'm sure that they're going to have all of NFL Red Zone and Football Sundays and everything like that going on there. So definitely the spot to be. Or alternatively, if you're all baseball, just baseball, they got those games on too. So go check out Greta. I saw this great clip. Tom Brady, he went to the Paris Olympics recently, and he was in this car, and somebody asked him, he was like, all right, create a starting offensive lineup, create a starting offensive lineup, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 tight end using the United States basketball team. And then he went through and he was like, all right, well, LeBron's going to do this, and Embiid's going to do that, and everything
based on
like
their
that.
Skills and size and
all that
kind of
shit,
stuff,
and honestly, like, you hear the roster and it's like, damn, like, LeBron gonna be eating,
if they're good at football.
Yes, obviously they actually have to throw the pigskin around, but it sounded like it would be really good. And Brady was like, yeah, this guy's gonna be a big possession receiver, and this guy's going deep, whatever. He had all his reasons and everything. So we're gonna take that right now, and we're gonna move it over to baseball. So the challenge right now is to create a starting NFL offense roster, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, using players in MLB. Do you got a roster for me?
I do have a roster. I'm curious to see. Like, there's some guys I actually have slashes. I'm like kind of not sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
could do anything.
Else. So why don't we start with some quarterbacks here?
Mm-hmm,
I mean, obviously when you think quarterback, when you look at baseball, you're like, okay, I gotta have a pitcher. I need a guy who can actually throw the ball and throw with some accuracy, maybe a little bit of heat, maybe a little bit of zip. And then I was looking at like just this year's starting pitchers. Just I was going by ERA, and I'm like, yeah, like this would be cool and all, but a lot of these guys, I got to think about, like, what does a quarterback need? He's got to be big, right? He's got to have big pocket presence, but he's also got to be accurate. Just because you have a good slider and curveball doesn't mean you're going to be a good quarterback.
No.
I'm looking at dudes who can do it, and I have 2 guys, but I've decided which one I'm gonna go with. I'm actually gonna go with Tanner Houck of the Boston Red Sox. 6'5", big dude, reminds me of Josh Allen. Presence, has a demeanor to him, and he can whip the ball pretty good. He's got a pretty good fastball on him, and his ERA, he's up there in ERA, and he's top 10 in strike percentage.
Right.
I was gonna go Scooble, but I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to put a guy at a pocket presence, I'm thinking Tanner Houck, a big guy, young guy too. I want to build my team around, and he's up and coming in this league. I didn't think I was going to pick him.
No.
I
like it, man. I like it. Houck, obviously big presence. I do think he's got that kind of Josh Allen mold. And it's the thing, like he's a big boy, but he's fit too. He's not like he could definitely run. You could see him moving around, which honestly, like, that's where I was going, man, because I was thinking about the quarterback position, and initially I was thinking pitchers.
Right.
But then I was thinking, well, what the fuck did Patrick Mahomes do for a long time?
Right.
What did, Kyler Murray do very good? I was thinking, damn, maybe the shortstop position is where it's at, because they can still zing that thing.
Right.
But, they got the sidearms, they got the movement, they got everything.
Who you're gonna go with.
Okay,
can I guess?
Take a guess.
There's 2 guys, actually. It's either O'Neal Cruz or Ellie De La Cruz.
So that's really funny. Both of them are on this roster. Both of those guys are on this roster. However, at the quarterback position, kind of slotting in as that Lamar Jackson, you can't touch me, but I can also sling that thing. We're going Ellie De La Cruz.
Ellie De La Cruz.
I mean, I feel like that guy, obviously, he's, kind of the Lamar Jackson build. Like, he's going to run all over you.
Right.
But at the same time, like, he could leave the pocket no problem and fire that thing on the run. And I was looking at, how hard he throws at the shortstop position.
Yeah.
It is fast. He's got an arm on him. So, just the athleticism of Ellie De La Cruz, that's who I want commanding at the quarterback position.
It's funny, and I thought about this. He actually leads the league in errors. But because his arm strength is so high and his range is so far, that's why his outs above average is at 98th percentile.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the most interesting stats. Like, old heads would go, hell no, this guy sucks. But then you look at his everything else, you're like, damn, this guy's one of the better ones in baseball.
Yeah, because he's so strong, it's like plays that should be singles, he's making the out by half a second or something like that, right? So, yeah, and again, look, all the errors and everything like that, you don't got to catch the ball, Ellie. You just gotta whip it.
Well, that's the thing. He's got to be able to throw it with accuracy. Yeah. That's the one thing I will say. He's got the arm strength, but can he be accurate? But he's got legs.
He's got legs too, man. He's got legs too. So we're gonna be running Jackson for a lot of. We're gonna be doing the Baltimore Ravens offense. You're gonna see a theme here from me. Okay. It's all speed, baby. It's all speed here.
Let's move on. Let's talk about our wide receivers.
All right.
Let's talk about wide receivers. This guy I have to put on my team because I legitimately think that this guy could play any sport he wants. He needs to be on this team, and we might even be on your team. I'm putting Mookie Betts as my wide receiver 1 veteran guy. He's an outfielder. He can be a slot receiver, reliable. He's got hands. He's athletic. That one's an easy comp for me as my go-to guy.
Yeah.
You're my veteran. You're my leader.
I think, honestly, Mookie, he'd be the slot. Because he's a smaller guy. He's a smaller guy.
He's still got speed, but he's
got a lot of
intelligent. And he's athletic.
That's the thing.
Catches.
Like the offensive awareness from a Mookie Betts, I think would go above and beyond. And again, he's just an athlete. You know. So again, like he is a smaller dude, but like that kind of like that slot Julian Edelman presence right there. Jaden Reed on the Green Bay Packers.
I'll find the pocket.
Yeah, he'll find the open spaces. Just be that possession guy in the middle of the field. Get me a first down. I like it, dude. I do like it. Who's your second wide receiver?
This one, it's interesting. I was thinking, okay, now because I got Mookie, I'm gonna need a guy with a little more speed. Guys who can beat guys. And I was thinking about my Bobby Witts of the world, my Ellie De La Cruzes, my all those guys. But I was like, I do need somebody with some good hands. I need somebody who can go get it. And the guy who we were just talking about, Jaren Duran, one of the better outfielders in baseball right now. Center field has got great hands, got one of the best speeds in the game. It's like he's going to be my post route. Like I'm going deep and I'm going to find you down there.
Okay. I hear you, man. Let me pull up his Baseball Savant page and just take a look. Jaren, I think he's quick too, is he not?
Yeah, exactly.
He's pretty quick,
and
right?
Great hands. That's what I need, man. I need if I can get the ball to you.
Yeah.
And you're going to make a catch.
You're going to clamp it.
He's going to clamp it. So I was looking for a center fielder that could do it. And obviously I was thinking about Dalton Varsho as one of my guys for sure. He could absolutely do it. But I'm like, I need a little bit of a bigger dude down there. So he's 6'2". I'm like, Jaren Duran, I'm going to go get it.
Okay. I like it, man. Now, I will say, I like it. I like my wide receiver 1 more, though. Because I think this guy could absolutely walk onto a football field. I mean, obviously, this is an exaggeration, but I think he could walk onto a football field and he could play tomorrow. And that guy that I'm talking about is Julio Rodriguez.
Okay.
6'3", so he's a bigger guy, 6'3", but he's in the 98th percentile in speed, so he'll burn you. And then also in terms of catching and everything like that, outs above average. He's in the 91st percentile, so you've seen the highlights of Julio Rodriguez out there in the outfield, right?
That's a good one.
We're talking about a big boy out there who can beat you deep or alternatively beat you inside or anything like that. He will make the clamps, and then when the ball's in his hands, he's going to fucking run on you. The yak's going to be crazy on Julio Rodriguez. That's my wide receiver 1. And then I kind of went like a similar player type, similar build with the wide receiver 2. Not quite as talented as Julio Rodriguez, but still, I think that this guy could absolutely do some work. We're going to go with a little Louis Robert Jr. action right there over on the Chicago White Sox. Very similar. You're looking at the speed and also the outfield statistics and everything like that. Similar guy. I would personally play him on the inside, kind of like my possession guy. Louis Robert would be my wide receiver 1, or Julio would be my wide receiver 1. Louis would be the wide receiver 2. But great sprint speed, good defense, and just a solid possession guy right there. So I'm going with 2 young guns at the wide receiver position for me.
Okay, interesting. I mean, hey, Louis Robert's no young gun anymore. 27 years old.
That's true. Actually, he's in the middle of his career. You're right. You're right about that. Yeah.
It's been a while since he's been up there.
That's crazy, dude. He's just been dying on the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, we've all forgotten about him.
He can still eat, though. He can still eat. He'll move the chains.
Okay, cool. I like it. All right, let's move on to tight end. And this one, I didn't have to think twice.
I didn't think twice, man. I think we're going to say the same guy. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Aaron Judge.
Easy. Plays center field, can run. Biggest person in baseball.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge.
No,
not even debating.
Genuinely, I've thought for the longest time. I mean, now it's like the guy's the best player in baseball, so I think you did pick the right sport.
Yeah.
But seriously, if at a young age Aaron Judge was put onto a football field, I really think that we'd be looking at the next Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
That's the type of caliber I think that Aaron Judge would provide. Massive guy. Massive. He's got the speed. He's just an overall athlete, and he will clamp up the baseball or the football. So, I mean, Aaron Judge is just such a lock-in for me for tight end.
Yeah, no, I agree. No debate right there.
Don't need to even think twice. In fact, guys, comment down below if you could think of anybody who would be better at the tight end position than Aaron Judge. I'm all ears. I was trying to rack my brain and trying to come up with like some hot take or something like that. I just couldn't. I couldn't think of anyone. I really couldn't think of anyone else.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, now looking at running backs. This one's interesting because I think running back was one of the harder ones to find.
It was.
One of the harder ones to find because it's like, okay, well, who can run in a tight space that's also strong and built? And now that I'm thinking about it, like, there's a lot of guys out there, and I actually don't know if you have a locked-in guy. I'll let you go first because I have like 4 guys.
So I have somebody who is like I'm happy with.
Yeah.
I would like to see him hit the gym a little bit more,
right?
Because like we're gonna need to beef up quite a bit.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be a running back in the NFL. But again, we're starting with a really good frame right here. I did say that I was gonna have O'Neal Cruz on this list. It is gonna be O'Neal Cruz right here. I'm thinking this is the Derrick Henry type.
Right.
He's 6'7".
That's huge.
He's 6'7". He's 215 pounds. So that's what I mean. We got to beef up a little bit, if you're going to handle some NFL linebackers or something like that. But the sprint speed is incredible. And if you got, like, if O'Neal Cruz, for instance, like, because he's ripped, right? But if he started getting his training and his regimen for an NFL roster or something like that, I could easily see him like skyrocketing up to 240, 245 and just barreling over people, like running down the middle like a Derrick Henry type. And once he gets those legs churning, there's no stopping O'Neal Cruz. So I'm gonna lock him in as like my power horse. I'm just gonna fucking train you down.
It's funny. Like, my guys are the reason why I'm so split. It's like, I would pick these guys, but I'm missing this one little thing. So I had these are my. I'm down to 3, and I know which one I think I'm gonna pick. It's Jazz Chisholm, but he's small.
Yeah.
He's quick, but he's gonna get destroyed. He would need to get beefed up. Like, that was one of my things.
Yes.
Healthy Mike Trout. He's wide.
I was thinking about him too, actually.
Yeah,
interesting.
He's wide, he's shorter, and he's fast. And I'm like, you know what? That could be a good a power running back.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? That could work. And then I was thinking very similarly, Dalton Varsho, like similar, like I think athleticism, and
low to the ground,
and can pound. So just because he's not healthy and just because Jazz is not big, I am going to go Dalton Varsho.
Okay.
That was my guy.
No, I don't hate it.
Similar player. Because, again, like, I'm trying to find a guy who can, like, play for me if I had to pick someone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, Dalton Varsho's got the legs. He's got the upper body. He can hold on to the rock and just absolutely pound it.
No, I really don't hate that selection at all, man. Like, I feel like Varsho could do it. Like, he's got
field awareness.
Again, that's the thing. He's got the body type, and you know that he could turn on a dime. He's low to the ground. He's going to be tough to take down. I was thinking about Mike Trout a lot myself. I just came back to the fact that he is not healthy,
he's
right?
Not healthy,
but if he was, right, and if you're looking at like a younger version of Mike Trout too, like that guy is like stocky. He is also low to the ground, but also a bigger dude. He's got weight on him. He's got meat on him.
Yeah.
And he he'll power you down.
Exactly.
He will power you down. So
it's a tough one. You guys let us know in the comments what would your NFL lineup be if you were to take MLB players today and put them in there to compete at the NFL level?
And also, which lineup are you taking right now? Ellie, Aaron Judge, Julio Louis, or O'Neal? Or on Adam's side,
you got Houck, Mookie, Jaren Duran, Judge, and Varsho.
I think those guys could all eat, man.
They could all eat.
I think that would be one hell of a football game, dude. Like, this is something that they got to start incorporating in the All-Star game and everything like that. Like, I know it's all about growing the game of baseball and everything, but how cool would it be to watch, like, baseball players play football, or football players play baseball, or like hockey players play whatever. You know, I just find that to be like super fun. Or if all the leagues came together,
I was just thinking that, but I
feel
like they can't because they never there's like baseball especially. Like, I feel like you could do it with hockey, basketball, and football,
right?
But baseball would be the one.
That's true because we're like the only game that's playing in the summer.
We start when they're still playing, and we finish when they just start.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That is true. Damn.
Oh, well, guys, that looks like it's going to be the podcast for today for Bad for Baseball. So let us know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Which team do you guys want us to talk about next week? Who's cooking right now? We got lots more baseball to go. I believe we got like 7 more weeks. So it's going to be a lot more conversations, especially ramping up to that postseason. Super exciting. Let us know again. Let us know about those NFL those lineups and tell us who you would make as well.
Y'all are the best. Please hit the like, smash the subscribe button. We will see you next Thursday.
Cheers.